What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. I just got off an interview with Vladimir, who's going to be the founder of the ENCOINS Protocol, which is going to be a privacy solution building on Cardano. Now, the ENCOINS Protocol has two use cases. The first is if you want to hide the actual value amount of ADA that you're sending to a particular wallet. And then the second is if you want to hide the sender to a recipient for a given transaction. Now, because this particular protocol can be a little bit of a big one to wrap your head around, what I want to do is kick this video off with a brief overview and a brief explanation as to how the ENCOINS protocol works. So not only will this cover the first scenario where you're trying to hide the amount of ADA that you're sending to a particular wallet, but it's also going to talk about the ENCOINS ledger, which will hide the sender of a particular transaction. Now, as soon as this 2.5-minute introduction to ENCOINS actually finishes playing, you're going to jump right on into today's interview. That said, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoy and get value out of today's video.
Let's talk about ENCOINS, your private transactions on the Cardano network. When you send data, or other tokens, your transaction is publicly visible and traceable with a blockchain explorer. There, everyone can see which wallet address is the sender, what was sent, how much was sent, and which wallet address the recipient has. But what if you want to transact more privately? ENCOINS gives you just that. It allows you to disguise your transactions so that the amount or token, as well as the sender and associated recipient, are unclear for anyone tracking your wallet on the blockchain. It utilizes zero-knowledge proofs to protect the user's privacy and to guarantee immutable distribution over the relayers. Here's how it works in two simple examples. First, let's disguise the amount we're sending. To do that, you deposit ADA into the ENCOINS smart contract, and in return, you receive 2 or more ENCOINS tokens and their minting keys, which are needed to redeem the deposited ADA later. In this example, we deposited 1,000 ADA and minted 3 ENCOINS tokens, with 1 token having a value of 1,000 ADA and 2 with a value of 0 ADA to create diversion on the blockchain. On the blockchain, a tracker would now see that you've transferred an amount of 1,000 ADA and in return have received 3 tokens of unknown value. If you now send one of these tokens to another wallet, the amount sent is disguised. If this token in the other wallet is redeemed, however, the value of the transaction would be visible on the blockchain. So to prevent this, the new owner could exchange the token for ADA and additional ENCOINS so that the amount of the redeemed ADA is visible, but not the remaining value in the new tokens. However, theoretically, this could also simply be 0, since tokens with a value of 0 can also be minted. Like this, a tracker remains in the dark about the actual amount that was transferred. Now, let's see how we can not only disguise the amount, but also ensure that it cannot be determined where you sent ADA to or from whom you received ADA. With ENCOINS, this works via an open source smart contract called ENCOINS Ledger. For this, you either transfer ENCOINS tokens to the ENCOINS Ledger and convert them into new tokens, or you mint tokens directly in the ENCOINS Ledger. You can then let the ledger send ADA to another wallet without your wallet appearing as the sender on the blockchain, because the sender address is always the address of the ENCOINS relayer. The direct link between the recipient's wallet and your wallet address has been removed thanks to ENCOINS, giving you the freedom of private transactions. ENCOINS is the first service that allows you to disguise the amounts of and the wallets involved in transactions. The protocol is completely open source, so you can verify the code yourself. It utilizes zero-knowledge proofs to protect the user's privacy and allow for immutable transactions over the relayers. Currently, the ENCOINS protocol only supports wrapping of ADA, but this support will eventually be extended to all native assets on Cardano, including Cardano NFTs.
What is going on, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed, and as a part of today's video, I will be joined by Vlad, who is going to be the CEO and founder of ENCOINS. Vlad, we've been trying to make this video happen for almost a whole entire month now. I'm so happy to finally have you on. How are you doing on this wonderful morning?
Yeah, thanks, Farid, for having me. I'm doing great. Let's do it. Hopefully, right now we will succeed.
Yes, I've got high hopes. I think today's the day. I've woken up this morning with a different feeling. And so I guess let's just go ahead and jump right on in. So ENCOINS is going to be a privacy protocol building on Cardano. Do you mind, number one, giving us a little bit of background surrounding yourself and what ENCOINS is bringing to the Cardano ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working on ENCOINS for almost 2 years now. I have a background in applied mathematics. Previously, I was a postdoc researcher. So by default, all transactions on public blockchains such as Cardano are completely open and visible, and you can see all the details. And if you, for example, know the person or the identity of the person behind the wallet, then you can track essentially all their spending and their incoming and outcoming funds. And so for that reason, we need privacy protocols to somehow restrict what you can see as an external observer on the blockchain. And so we are building ENCOINS, a privacy protocol on Cardano, which is based on NFTs. And the way it works is that users can mint these encrypted coins. These are tokens that hold certain value that is only known to the user who minted it. And the way it works is that a user can do an ENCOINS transaction and mint several tokens at the same time, and at the same time depositing some funds into the protocol. And then later, the owner of the token can redeem it for the value that is encoded in the token. And this is the base protocol. And then we have what we call ENCOINS Ledger, which is a on-chain script where you can send your tokens. And this way, you can transfer them by simply sending the minting keys off-chain to the recipient. So we are very close to launching on the mainnet. Right now, we are still running on the testnet. We have just completed the audit by Anastasia Labs. And so the next phase of the testnet will be to invite our community relays to join and test with us. And then mainnet launch is also very soon.
Thank you for the introduction as to what the ENCOINS protocol is building. So, if I understand it correctly, the ENCOINS platform has two use cases. One, for example, let's say that I want to maybe send you, Vlad, a certain asset, and I don't want the actual total amount of that asset to be known. I can use a platform like ENCOINS to safely and privately do that. Number two, and I believe this is potentially using the ledger. Let's say I want to send you something, but I actually don't want anybody else to know that it's coming from myself. Then I can use a ledger in order to go ahead and do that. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So let's say so right now it will work in version 1. It will work like this. So you when you send somebody funds on the ledger, they can then remint those tokens to get the full ownership of them. And then they can do the same thing. They can send these tokens to someone else. And this way, the identity of the recipient will not be revealed, right? So obviously, when you deposit into the protocol, you are still, linking your wallet to the deposit. But then, for the recipients, they can stay pseudonymous.
Got it. Thank you. And I think that makes sense. One thing I do want to jump into is just going to be how the actual protocol continues to live on, right? So with any great platform, it has to generate some sort of revenue in order for it to continue running. So where and how does the actual protocol sustain itself?
Yeah, so we have what we call relayers. these are decentralized backend providers that operate independently of each other. They are run by the community members, and so they can collect fees for certain types of transactions. So we have a fee for withdrawing from the protocol and also for ENCOINS ledger transactions. And so they can collect fees. Most of the fees are collected by these relayers. And then in order to become a relayer, you need a certain amount of ENCS tokens delegated to you. And so users can, the holders of ENCS can delegate to their favorite relayer. And it is currently it is up to relayer to distribute the rewards, but probably later on we will have this system completely automated.
Yeah, I think automating something like that would definitely, number one, take the burden off of the relayer distributing it. And then number two, it will make the community feel more at ease knowing that, their rewards are not dependent on the actual relayer waking up in the morning and then actually sending it over to them. So I think that's a huge win-win. Now, one thing that you touched on was the fact that you guys are right now, I believe, on the test net with the mainnet on the cusp. So let's jump into your roadmap and where you guys currently stand. So as it states, you guys have already announced ENCOINS. You guys have already had your TGE or token generation event for the ENCS token. And then you guys already have a public test net. How is the experience up until now? How has the experience up until now been? And then number two, when can we potentially expect a mainnet release?
Yeah, so currently we have received the results of the audit, and I believe we already have the final version of the on-chain code. So currently what we need to do is we need to test the relayers, the community relayers on the testnet. See how it goes, if the experience is smooth for the users, because up until now we only had like our own relayer running in the background. So we need I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks to test this. And then I believe we will be ready for the mainnet launch. So I hope the mainnet launch happens somewhere in October.
Thank you for some of the alpha there. October is right around the corner, so it sounds like you guys are literally ready to be on the mainnet. Now, there's two things I want to jump into here on the roadmap. Number one is going to be ecosystem integrations. For any great protocol to survive, it has to be integrated and has to be adopted by the actual Cardano community. So to that end, right, we've seen, for example, ADA Handle, which is an NFT naming solution for wallets, be integrated into wallets, dApps, etc. What is the plan with ecosystem integrations for the ENCOINS protocol, and who are you potentially eyeing as adopters of ENCOINS? I'm trying to kind of get a better understanding of what protocols could actually benefit from using a solution like ENCOINS is providing.
Mm-hmm. So we plan to do ADA Handle integration in our UI, of course, and then we have a partnership with Grabit. So they will be doing their reward system using ENCOINS. I think it is a great use case for our protocol where they do not want to reveal the rewards for their competitions beforehand. So what they do is they mint several ENCOINS and then use them as a reward for the participants. In terms of what hasn't been announced, we are discussing with many DeFi protocols the option to, let's say, withdraw from their platform directly into ENCOINS I think this is something that could work with version 1, but we put high expectations on ENCOINS version 2, actually, where we enable native asset support, and then the number of use cases that you could imagine grows substantially. So, for example, we can do some kind of trades using ENCOINS, for example, with NFT protocols. Maybe we can do like OTC trading with DEXs and NFT protocols.
Got it. So it sounds like with integrations, you guys are eyeing any potential platforms where rewards are potentially distributed, where an end user might want to keep that bit of information actually encrypted or hidden, which I think is great. And then you also mentioned you guys actually integrating ADA handle support into your platform. So again, I think that's awesome because they are one of the probably most used NFTs on the Cardano network. Now, you did touch on number 6, which was native asset support, which is actually what I want to jump into briefly next. So if I'm not mistaken right now, the ENCOINS protocol currently supports ADA, right? What other assets are you guys looking at supporting moving forward? Will it be a whitelisting process? How do you guys, I guess, plan on, identifying and then actually onboarding new assets to cover using the ENCOINS protocol?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there will be, I don't think there will be a whitelisting process. So the idea is that in version 2, we plan to upgrade our on-chain code, the actual smart contract. And so that you could send into the protocol, not just ADA, but any Cardano asset, essentially. And what's cool, I think, about it is that it will also work with NFTs. You can send the NFT the same way, and then because if you have like an ENCOIN, you can burn it and produce several coins in the same transaction. Then you can have privacy for NFTs as well as for fungible assets. And but the owner of the NFT can still prove that they control the NFT. So I think it is potentially a really cool application.
Yeah, and the more you speak about it, the more applications kind of come to mind for myself. Now, we've touched so far on what ENCOINS is, some of the benefits that it provides to the Cardano ecosystem, and exactly where you guys are in the roadmap, and when we could potentially expect a mainnet launch, as well as some upcoming integrations. One thing that we have not touched on, but that has been mentioned, is going to be the ENCS token, right? So that's going to be the actual native governance token for the ENCOINS protocol. Do you mind touching on the benefit and use cases for the ENCS token?
Yeah, sure. So currently, we basically already mentioned there are two use cases. The first one is participation in governance. So we up to date, I think we did 5 polls. So it's community votes on how to spend some treasury funds. And of course, we will do more in the future. And in fact, we plan to transition to a fully on-chain treasury, smart contract treasury. So it will be important for people to participate. And then another use case is so to ensure the quality of the service, we limit the relayers that want to join the list. and to provide the service to the users. So basically, getting into the relayer list requires delegation of ENCS, so 100K ENCS, and you get into the list. And this is the current parameter, but of course we can change it through governance if there is a need for this.
Awesome. So actually allowing the community to use the ENCS token to then vote for how many ENCS tokens need to be delegated to actually have an official relayer. Really cool to hear. Thank you for that information. Now, it is Catalyst season. I believe there's about 2 days left for voting. And I couldn't have you on here without talking about your actual Catalyst proposal. So do you mind highlighting, what the expectation is and what you guys are proposing for the Cardano community?
Yeah, sure. We decided to split our proposal into two. We have one proposal on the front end of version 2 and another one on the back end and protocol development. So in terms of the back end, I already mentioned some points. So we will add support for all native assets. We plan to, make our contract fully decentralized, fully trustless, and so also we plan to do the so-called collaborative transactions, which enhance privacy on the ENCOINS for the ENCOINS ledger transactions even more. By batching several user transactions together. And so these are the main features of on the back end. And on the front end, we plan to do the full UI UX redesign. We are transitioning into a wallet-like UI, where the user will have all the regular buttons plus maybe a button to send to their private address or retrieve the funds from the private address, something like this. Then we plan to do the on-chain governance UI. So for the DAO, we will be using, I'm almost certain we will be using Agora DAO, but we need to make our own front end. So this will be funded by the Catalyst proposal if we get it. Yeah, so these are the main points.
Got it. So again, two proposals, one focusing on the back end, and then one more or less focusing on the front end and potential integrations. Now, you mentioned Clarity, or I believe the Agora DAO. Is that in collaboration with Clarity?
So we are not collaborating yet with anybody on this. So Agora DAO is developed. The smart contract itself is developed by Liquid team, and it has been audited. So this is a big plus, and one of the reasons why everybody likes using it as a smart contract. But so there is Clarity who is providing the platform that is based on Agora, and then there is, for example, Summon Protocol who, if I'm not mistaken, they also basically do the same thing. Well, kind of similar thing, but building their own front end for Agora. So there are options, and we haven't chosen anything yet. Probably if we get funded, then we will just develop our own front end for this.
Got it. Thank you for the information there. I've got two more questions, and then I'm going to go ahead and pose my final one. So we've talked about the relayers and what is needed in terms of ENCS to actually become a relayer, but I don't think I actually asked how many current relayers do you have right now or anticipation of the mainnet launch?
I guess we will see it maybe in a week or so. Currently, we are running our own relay, and I mean it is working really smoothly actually. So hopefully, when community runs them, then it will be even better, better experience. But from what we see, from the activity we see on Discord, I anticipate maybe we'll have up to a dozen relays at launch.
That's really positive to hear. And I think for any new protocol, you always have to kind of hold the protocol's hand early on. And I think that's what you guys are willing to do, right? By running your own relays as the Endcoins team. But the hope would be that, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now, that the community will run the majority of the relayers, making this as decentralized as possible. So, again, very exciting news. I know that you guys are putting in a lot of work and you guys are so close to seeing your platform go live on the mainnet. So, I want to just give you a shout out, Vlad, and the rest of the team supporting you as well. The next thing I want to go ahead and ask you before I jump into my very last question is just going to be a question surrounding some of the challenges and hurdles you guys have faced along the way. Developing something such as a privacy platform on Cardano, I'm sure that you can probably find some people that are really happy about what you guys are building. But then on the other side of the spectrum, because we're on blockchain, some people might not necessarily like the idea of what Endcoins is building. So I guess from, a front end user standpoint, or maybe just from a general development standpoint, what have been some of the hurdles or biggest challenges that you and the Endcoins team has faced just developing the protocol?
Yeah, so actually, the reception so far has been very positive for us. I think we have built a strong community of supporters, especially on Discord. In terms of hurdles during the development, so there were technical aspects like a lot of tools haven't been built 2 years ago, and we had to develop a lot in-house. So this was actually quite difficult. It was it was hard to anticipate like everything that you have to build in order for the protocol to actually work. Yeah, but we are basically past this, and right now it's like we are basically yeah using the tools that we've built, and it's like the development speed up substantially in the past few months. So I'm looking optimistic.
Yeah, I am optimistic as well. I think we've seen tons of new platforms and tons of new tooling come into the ecosystem. And just like with anything, you take a look, for example, at your iPhone, right? If we go back all the way to the first iPhone and you compare that to iPhone 13 now, right? Or 14, whatever the latest version is, the amount of time and simplification that has gone into these technologies is crazy, right? So I think because we're so early, sometimes we don't have the necessary tools or the necessary platforms to help us kind of shortcut the development. But I think that on the other end of the spectrum, that actually kind of helps you, right? Because now it forces you to understand some sort of technology that maybe you wouldn't have really gotten to understand if somebody else would have built it out for you. So I do think there's a silver lining, even though it probably takes a little bit more work on the front end. When you look at it in the future, you're probably thankful for the experience that you gained along the way. So, Vlad, I want to thank you for your time joining me here today. The very last thing I want to ask you is, where do you see the Endcoins protocol in the next year, 2 years, or potentially 5 years down the line? What can we expect to come next?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think maybe with the time, ENCOINS protocol will be like integrated to many systems and platforms on Cardano, and users maybe will not even notice that they are using it, but their their identity, their privacy is preserved automatically. And yeah, I think this is the direction that we should take probably, because right now the potential users are people who understand how blockchain works and who value privacy because they know that the way things work in the background. They know that it's very important.
Agreed. I think privacy is something that we obviously all value, right? And even on a platform like blockchain where everything is supposed to be transparent, I think there does need to be at least some sort of expectation of privacy. And so I think we've seen privacy protocols on networks like Ethereum, et cetera, which have obviously had a little bit more time to build than Cardano. But I'm excited to now finally be able to get our hands on ENCOINS, which is going to be the pioneering privacy protocol on the network. So, ladies and gentlemen, Vlad, again, CEO and founder of ENCOINS. If you guys are interested in finding out more about what they're building here on the Cardano network, make sure to go ahead and check out the description down below. They are available on Twitter, Discord, Medium, Telegram, Gitbook, as well as they actually have a GitHub and a YouTube channel. So you guys are probably one of the most active protocols when it comes to social media. But I think that's great. We need more people to be available on these different mediums because, again, everybody chooses to reach out and interact in different ways. So that, I think, is going to do it here again for today's video. Vlad, I want to thank you so much for your time. I look forward to having you back on the channel, especially as you guys get ready to gear up for your mainnet launch. And I'll definitely be providing my community updates as to the development of your protocol. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you guys enjoyed today's video, I would appreciate you if you could tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the Dapp Central YouTube channel and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And if you guys have any questions for myself or Vlad surrounding the ENCOINS protocol, then as always, make sure to go ahead and leave those down below. That said, we'll catch you guys in the next video.